Welcome back to the Rivalry Show here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. The game is inching so much closer by the second, but let's take a look at the keys to the game coming up.
Yeah, we've talked all about the fans and the atmosphere this morning, but let's talk on the field. For Ohio State, it sounds cliche, but strike early. Whenever you're in a hostile environment, you always want to quiet the crowd, right? 2, feed number 18. He's the best player on the field, Marvin Harrison Jr. It needs to be involved early and often. And lastly, don't give up the big play. We saw that 5 different times in last year's game, which ultimately led to the Buckeyes' demise. And then as for Michigan, they've talked about it the last couple of weeks, but remain focused. With Harbaugh not here and a lot of things being said on the outside, it's easy to get caught up in the noise. They've done a great job so far of keeping that noise and using it as motivation, but remaining focused. And it's about balance. We know the Wolverines have been stellar at running the ball. That will open up some opportunities for the passing attack. And then third, rely on this crowd. You have the home field advantage today, and you're the largest stadium in the country. Use all those fans today. They're going to be loud. They're going to be rowdy. You want to make sure you use that to your advantage today.
Definitely. And you had mentioned how Ohio State is going to need to strike early, obviously being in enemy territory. And actually, we heard from Ryan Day earlier this week about how the team has had more road games this season than pretty much in recent years, and the keys to having a successful on-the-road trip. A century-long tradition, meeting for the 119th time.
You have to play with emotion. You can't let emotion play with you.
The game Ohio State spends all season preparing for.
The way that we've prepared, the way we've evaluated each game, the way we've talked about each game, our focus in the offseason, our focus in the preseason, and our focus during the season.
Hanging tight with some opponents this season, but always coming out on top, giving them another undefeated record.
We knew we had to go on the road this season more than we had in the past, and certainly knew we had to go on the road for this one. So it's been great to get tested, to get battle tested. So again, you talk about reference point. Our team does have a reference point. It'll be loud. It'll be hostile, great environment. But we've been in those before, and I think all of our guys, when they come here, whether it's a coach or a player, they're here for one reason: to win that game.
The only thing breaking that, the maize and blue for the last 2 years.
That's kind of how you shape your season. That's how you shape your off season, and then you learn about your team. You learn about there's a lot of information that comes in during the season, and you grow from there and you build from there. All in preparation for this one.
Coach Day has been with the Buckeyes for the last 6 years, through victory and defeat.
You take every year as it is and go from there, but there's guys with scars, and I'm one of them, and so it just drives you every day to work harder and to make sure you do everything you possibly can to win the game.
From the Buckeyes to the Wolverines, we now bring in Chase Bachman, who was in Ann Arbor earlier this week and heard from the team.
Yeah, Noel, it's been a long offseason. It's been a long season to this point, obviously with everything swirling around the Michigan Wolverines right now, but they have managed to stay undefeated to this point. Here is everything that has gotten Michigan to November 25th.
Michigan and Ohio State, the game.
It's all about this game. This game is one of the defining moments for a season.
For the Michigan Wolverines, it's been maybe the noisiest season in program history.
It's been like a high-pitched siren, like a deafening, ear-piercing noise, and after a while, you start tolerating it.
The Maize and Blue came out of last season as one of the favorites to win the national championship. Jim Harbaugh and major players returned to an already loaded team. But in January, the NCAA charged Michigan with allegations of recruiting violations. The school came to an agreement in August to suspend Harbaugh for the first 3 games of the year.
Him not being there is going to give us an extra chip on the shoulder.
With and without Harbaugh, the Wolverines have dominated nearly every opponent they've faced. Then, everything changed in late October. News dropped of an NCAA investigation into an alleged sign-stealing operation.
It's just unfortunate that, people don't think we put in the work to get to where we are.
Things became even harder for Michigan when the Big Ten handed down a 3-game suspension on Jim Harbaugh, keeping him off the sidelines for the rest of the regular season.
We lean on each other all heavily in all those situations to make the right call.
For Michigan, every goal is on the line. Their hope of winning the Big Ten, appearing in the college football playoff, and winning a national championship all hinge on the game.
11-0. They're 11-0.
You know, this game is a championship. Everything that we've been doing all year long is exactly what's going into this game.
Thank you, Chase. Now, we've talked about the keys to the game at the top of the block, but don't just take it from me. We've got now an expert on our set here, Kyle Rowland from The Blade. And first things first, Kyle, obviously you've been to Ann Arbor a few times now. Does this year feel any different as you're here on campus now?
Yeah, I mean, much so. Very early arriving crowd. This is the 23rd Ohio State-Michigan game I've been to. I think this is the biggest. That includes number 1, number 2 back in 06. Yep. Just all the storylines, everything. I mean, it just means so much for both these programs, both the coaches. I think this is as big as it gets.
Yeah, with the storylines, with Ohio State, having lost the last 2 years, with the Harbaugh thing for Michigan, does that elevate it more coming into this game?
Absolutely. So often there's been this mutual respect between these programs and the coaches. That is out the window this year. I mean, both coaches were asked about it this week. Neither one of them could say they respected the other. I think there's so much animosity. It almost feels more like an NFL type crowd, like the Browns and Steelers, than Ohio State, Michigan. So I think it's definitely been taken up a notch this season.
And I believe we're showing video from 2 years ago when this game was in Ann Arbor. A little different weather-wise.
Yeah. This is still Ohio State, Michigan weather, though. I mean, it's brisk, it's cold, but the sun is shining. Maybe we'll get some cloud cover before the game, but always nice to wake up on a brisk November day for Ohio State, Michigan.
Absolutely. I'm not complaining at all. Now, obviously, like I said, I mentioned my keys to the game. What's going to be your biggest key to who comes out victorious today?
Yeah, I mean, similar to what you say. I mean, Marvin Harrison is going to be huge for Ohio State. And Michigan knows that. So I think Emeka Egbuka is the guy who could maybe elevate himself and take over if they're going to double Harrison, or I assume Will Johnson will be on Harrison a lot. Cade Stover, another key. I think both defensive lines will expose the opposing offensive lines. I think the tackle position at Ohio State and Michigan could be problematic today. Travion Henderson is... When he plays well and he's at 100%, Ohio State's offense is entirely different. So I think that would be big for Ohio State. And then you have Kyle McCord. Like, can he be the guy in this moment on the road against Michigan?
Yeah, first exposure to it. We'll see how he does. I appreciate it, Kyle. Thanks for joining us. Now, we bragged about the weather all morning long. I want to give some credit to Matt for that. But Matt, how's it looking as we inch closer to kickoff?
Yeah, we're currently at Tyler. We're currently at 28 degrees, so it is definitely cold out there for the game right now. But at least just around kickoff, we'll be right around 34 degrees. So we'll warm up just a little bit, but at least by the end of the game, we'll see some sun and clouds where the temperatures will be right around 36 degrees. So either way you look at it, going to need the hat, the gloves, and the heavy jacket if you're going to the game or at least tailgating out in Ann Arbor. We'll send it back over to you guys.
Thank you, Matt. Now, Noelle has actually been out and about too, tailgating, mingling with the fans, not just Chase Bachman. Let's see what she's up to and what she caught up with earlier this morning.
Hey guys, out here in Ann Arbor at the Michigan tailgate on the north end. Are we in the north end, Paul?
We are in the north end of the stadium.
We're in the north end of the stadium. I'm here joined by Paul. Paul, just describe what you're out here doing this morning.
You know, we're just getting ready for the game. We're out here looking forward to our chance to play currently the number 2 team in the country, and I'm sure Michigan is ready. More ready than I am at my tailgate, even.
I know. I'm looking at all this nice spread. You came prepared today. So how long have you been a Michigan fan?
I have to do the math. I came to Michigan as a student in the fall of 1983, so that's 40 years.
Yeah. Who's counting, right?
But who's counting?
Who's counting?
Yeah, and my mother was a diehard Buckeye, so she knew I would get a better education if I went to Michigan.
Gotcha.
She let me go here.
And what makes this fandom and this just being a part of Michigan Blue so special?
You know, for us, it's the chance to be with family and friends. Every Saturday morning during the season, we're here. We're enjoying the food, we're enjoying the beverages, and we're enjoying good football and sunshine and people from all around the area. So it's a great chance to be together.
And how would you describe the fan base? What makes you guys unique?
I mean, exceptionalism, maybe a little arrogance, and an appreciation of really good food and really good friendship.
Absolutely. Well, Paul, I hope you enjoy today. Thank you so much. And yeah.
Thanks, Noel. Thanks, Chase. Yeah, go Blue. Go Blue.
Maybe a little arrogance. I love it. Well, it's time for another break here on our Rivalry Special. Speaking of Michigan, they have a super fan as well, and he's actually from the 419. We'll have him on set here after the break. You don't want to miss it when we come back.